Stephen Crowchild, a Tsuut'ina First Nation leader, met with Donald Trump ahead of the G7 summit in Canada. Crowchild, who was filled with rage upon arrival, prayed and consulted with his people's leaders before deciding to stay on the tarmac for a lengthy conversation with Trump. During their encounter, Crowchild spoke about promoting peace, protecting clean water, and other issues key to Canada's First Nation peoples. Despite expressing frustration with Trump over past actions, Crowchild aimed to use the meeting as an opportunity for diplomacy and calling attention to important Indigenous concerns. The encounter has raised questions about how world leaders will address these pressing issues in their summit discussions. The FBI is alerting iPhone users to a new text scam that poses as the Department of Motor Vehicles, DMV, of different states. The scam messages threaten driving privileges and jail time, but actually aim to steal personal data and payment information. Authorities urge recipients to delete the message immediately and file a report with the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center. A 14-year-old boy was hospitalized for 29 days after eating food from Tasty's, a Kansas City burger joint, and developed severe medical issues, including salmonella sepsis, organ failure, and heart problems. His mother, Brittany Odom, is suing the restaurant's parent company, alleging breach of implied warranties and negligence. She seeks fair and reasonable damages for her sons. Researchers using powerful bursts of radio waves have located the universe's missing ordinary matter, estimated to make up only 15% of all matter. The ordinary matter was found hidden as thinly distributed gas between galaxies, with about half unaccounted for until now. The discovery uses fast radio bursts to pinpoint and measure matter, shedding light on the distribution of ordinary matter in the universe, and providing a new avenue for understanding dark matter. Convicted sex trafficker R. Kelly was recently hospitalized after overdosing on medication while in solitary confinement at a federal correctional institute in North Carolina. His lawyers claim he was administered an overdose quantity of his medications and required hospitalization for 2 days. The incident has sparked allegations that prison officials orchestrated a plot to have him killed, prompting an emergency motion by his lawyers requesting release from incarceration through home detention. More than 60 heavily armed ICE agents raided a popular swap meet in Santa Fe Springs on June 14, 2025, detaining 2 individuals who are undocumented immigrants from Colombia. The raid sparked fears among vendors and customers, with many reporting they were forced to flee the scene as authorities searched for more people. Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has lost several key military and security advisors, including the Revolutionary Guard's commanders, due to Israeli airstrikes. The loss leaves major holes in his inner circle, raising concerns about strategic errors and miscalculations on defense and internal stability issues. President Trump's 250th anniversary military parade turned out to be a disaster, with sparse attendance, lack of organization, and empty VIP areas, prompting widespread criticism on social media. The event, which cost up to $45 million, was marred by poor planning and failed to live up to its promise. Scientists from the Chinese Academy of Sciences have successfully built the world's first working thorium molten salt reactor, MSR, a significant breakthrough in clean energy generation. The MSR uses thorium instead of uranium, producing less nuclear waste and radiation, and is safer due to its cooling properties. China plans to expand this technology, building larger reactors and even powering container ships with thorium, aiming to reduce carbon pollution output. President Trump ruled out calling Governor Tim Walz after 2 state lawmakers were targeted and killed in a mass shooting, citing a lack of common ground between their parties. A suspect was later arrested, and the president expressed disdain for the governor's past comments about him. Dr. Susan Cheng says coarse salt may be misleading due to its trendy reputation, while regular table salt is generally considered the healthiest choice for most people due to its added iodine and regulation. A 9-foot alligator wandered into a Gladewater, Texas restaurant's parking lot, prompting a joint effort between local police and wildlife experts to safely escort it back to its natural habitat in the Sabine River. The operation was completed without injury to anyone or the animal. An Air India flight returning from Delhi to Hong Kong made an emergency landing Monday after a mid-air technical issue, days after another of the airline's flights crashed and killed over 270 people. The Boeing 787 Dreamliner landed safely in Hong Kong and is being checked as a precautionary measure. Former NBA player Cuttino Mobley shared an anecdote about his friend Yao Ming driving a Range Rover that barely fits him due to his immense height, sparking speculation on why the billionaire didn't get a custom car. The Range Rover model had just enough space for Yao, but Mobley found it uncomfortable. Yao previously owned a customized BMW 7 Series sedan. A group of Barcelona residents, organized by the Neighborhood Assembly for Tourism Degrowth, protested mass tourism on June 15, highlighting its negative impacts on housing costs, environment, and local residents. Protesters used symbolic actions such as water pistols and smoke bombs to express their concerns, calling for responsible tourism that respects health, labor, dignity, and workers in the industry. Mortgage interest rates have inched higher for the day, with the current rate standing at 6.75% for 30-year fixed mortgages and 5.99% for 15-year fixed mortgages. The Federal Reserve meeting tomorrow is expected to have little impact on mortgage rates, which are influenced by international tension and economic factors. A pedestrian bridge in Maharashtra's Pune district collapsed on Sunday, June 15th, killing at least 2 people and injuring 32 others. The incident occurred over the Indrayani River, where tourists often gather, despite recent heavy rain in the area. A search operation is underway, with rescue efforts ongoing. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has expressed condolences to Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis. Dietitian Maria Laura Haddad Garcia highlights 7 foods with similar or higher anti-inflammatory benefits than spinach, including Brussels sprouts, red cabbage, berries, coffee, dark chocolate, pistachios, and flaxseed. These plant-based powerhouses can help reduce inflammation, a common contributor to chronic disease. The NAACP announced it will not invite President Donald Trump to its national convention next month, citing his alleged efforts to eliminate civil rights, marking the organization's first time excluding a sitting president in 116 years. Tropical Storm Eric rapidly strengthens off Mexico's coast, expected to become a Category 3 hurricane by Thursday, posing flash flooding and storm surge threats along the southwestern coast of Mexico. Former President Trump's military parade was marred by poor planning, including misdirected crowds and empty VIP sections. Thousands of attendees were herded away from the viewing area due to incorrect maps and a poorly located entrance, leaving many disappointed children who waited hours in line without seeing the event. The Wisconsin Supreme Court has ruled unanimously that a law passed by Republicans in 2018, which weakened the state attorney general's powers, is unconstitutional. The law required the attorney general to seek approval from a Republican-controlled legislative committee to settle certain lawsuits, a power reserved for the executive branch. The court's decision marks a victory for Democratic Attorney General Josh Kaul, who had argued that the law violated the separation of powers principle between the legislative and executive branches. Geoffrey Hinton, known as the godfather of AI, warns that AI will replace most jobs that involve routine tasks, making fields like healthcare and education safer. He advocates for a universal basic income to address potential unhappiness from job loss. Scientists detect unusual radio pulses emanating from under Antarctic ice sheet, defying explanation as ghost particles and potentially revealing new particle unknown to science. The Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department is facing criticism after a viral video showed officers making an arrest in downtown Indianapolis on Sunday, raising questions about police conduct and use of force. President Trump reportedly raged at Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth over a military parade in honor of the Army's 250th birthday, which he deemed not menacing enough. Biographer Michael Wolff claimed Trump blamed Hegseth for the lackluster performance and was upset by the soldiers' seemingly festive atmosphere. The White House has accused Wolff of lying, while Trump claims the parade was a tremendous success. Trail cameras have captured rare footage of North China leopards expanding their protected habitats in Shanxi province, marking a promising sign for this endangered species' recovery. Thanks to improved conservation efforts, the population has grown from rare sightings to 222 identified individuals, including 9 moving between protected areas. At least 270 people died when an Air India plane crashed into a medical college campus in Ahmedabad, Gujarat, India. Only 1 passenger survived among the 242 on board. Rescue efforts were led by trainee doctors and students who risked their lives to save colleagues trapped inside the burning building. Authorities have identified 47 victims through DNA testing, with many more still missing. A former Tesla general manager, Matthew Labrat, warns that Elon Musk's polarizing politics may be game over for the company's sales. Despite its electric vehicle mission, Tesla has seen a 49% drop in European sales and a 13% decline globally in the first quarter of 2025, with customer enthusiasm dwindling as Musk becomes increasingly involved in politics. Labrat claims that demand is not the problem, but rather Musk's public antics and alignment with opposing forces. With Tesla struggling to regain customer trust, it appears that game over may be a harsh reality for Elon Musk's company. After weeks of heavy rain, hammerhead worms are emerging in Texas, causing concerns over their impact on the environment and potential threat to pets. The invasive species thrives in hot tropical climates and can carry parasites and toxins that cause skin irritation. While not deadly to humans or household pets, they prey on earthworms essential for soil health and decomposition. The average 30-year fixed mortgage rate dropped 3 basis points to 6.70%, while the 15-year fixed interest rate home loan term stepped back 2 basis points to 5.98%. The Federal Reserve is expected to keep interest rates unchanged as it announces its latest decision on short-term interest rates this Wednesday. Financial experts reveal how the ultra-wealthy are maximizing their Roth IRAs by contributing early, using alternative investments, timing conversions strategically, planning for healthcare expenses, and leveraging accounts as estate planning tools. Experts say ordinary individuals can also benefit from these strategies with discipline and investment. A Wisconsin dairy farmer, Adam Faust, has filed a federal lawsuit against the Biden administration's successor, alleging that the USDA is discriminating against white farmers like him by continuing programs that favor minorities. The lawsuit claims that these programs, including the loan forgiveness program and environmental conservation initiatives, unfairly target minority and female farmers, putting white male farmers at a disadvantage. The San Diego City Council has approved sweeping amendments to its ADU regulations, limiting the number of units allowed per lot and requiring features like fire sprinklers. The changes aim to address concerns about affordable housing and community impact. President Trump's $45 million parade, held on his birthday and U.S. Army anniversary, was marked by low turnout and lukewarm energy, with critics comparing it to North Korea under dictator Kim Jong-un. The event failed to deliver the spectacle many had expected, with even the president appearing bored at times. The world's most visited museum, the Louvre, was paralyzed by striking staff Monday, citing unmanageable crowds and chronic understaffing. The strike comes months after President Emmanuel Macron unveiled a decade-long plan to address similar problems. Despite being a key component of Iran's nuclear program, the secretive Fordo fuel enrichment plant remains elusive to Israel and the U.S., with experts questioning its feasibility to be destroyed by a single bomb. The facility is estimated 80 to 90 meters beneath ground, protected from aerial attacks, making it a near-impossible target for destruction. Iranian officials claim the site can house up to 3,000 centrifuges, producing weapons-grade uranium at a rate of 60% enrichment. In a significant archaeological discovery, researchers in Montenegro have found a 1,600-year-old tomb of an elite Roman woman, complete with ornate grave goods, including a rare glass diatretta vessel featuring a gladiator scene. The diatretta, considered one of the finest examples of ancient glassmaking, is extremely rare and will require extensive restoration efforts to piece it fully together. India is investigating a plane crash that killed at least 270 people after recovering black boxes from the wreckage. The Boeing 787 Dreamliner, which was en route to London, crashed in Ahmedabad, leaving one survivor and causing widespread devastation. Investigators are studying cockpit conversations and data related to engine settings to determine the cause of the crash. A team of scientists captured the first-ever live footage of the Antarctic gonate squid, a species thought to be extinct until now. The discovery was made in December 2024 by an ROV off the coast of Antarctica's Weddell Sea, where the creature was found drifting near its habitat at depths of about 7,000 feet. In Ukraine's ongoing conflict with Russia, soldiers are increasingly relying on shotguns to counter unjammable fiber-optic drones due to the limitations of electronic warfare capabilities. Trained to shoot using low-tech shotguns, frontline soldiers face a challenging battle space with numerous drones in the air, often making it difficult to identify friend or foe. Iran has told Qatar and Oman that it will not negotiate a ceasefire while under attack from Israel, with the U.S. and other mediators urged to intervene. The surprise attack on Friday's military command and nuclear sites has escalated tensions between the two foes, with Iran vowing to retaliate. Israeli strikes continue, raising fears of a wider conflict. Immigrant Moises Sotelo Casas was taken into Immigration and Customs Enforcement custody outside his Episcopal church in Newburgh, Oren, leaving his daughter to struggle financially. He had started the immigration process under President Biden, but now faces a tougher path due to changes since Trump's presidency. The sole survivor of Air India flight AI-171's June 12 crash, Vishwash Kumar Ramesh, miraculously escaped with minor injuries. He recounts the terrifying ordeal from his hospital bed, stating the plane experienced issues just seconds after takeoff and that he was grabbed by someone and taken to the hospital. U.S. retail sales dropped 0.9% in May, the largest decline since January, due to a decline in motor vehicle purchases and lower receipts at service stations. Consumer spending remains supported by solid wage growth, but economists expect a more marked slowdown in the second half of the year as tariffs begin to weigh on real disposable incomes. Nicole Wallace reacts to the heinous shooting of two lawmakers and their spouses in Minnesota, condemning right-wing conspiracy theories and false statements from influential figures like Elon Musk and Senator Mike Lee. The Guangzhou Automobile Group's new electric truck, the Pickup 01, has been unveiled in Shanghai with impressive features, including a steer-by-wire system, adaptive suspension, and a sliding steering wheel. The $41,000 vehicle boasts over 12,000 Newton-meter of wheel torque and uses an intelligent chassis system that scans the road up to 1,000 times per second. Israel's military operations against Iranian targets have escalated, drawing in other countries and raising concerns about the potential for a wider conflict. The situation has sparked fears of a regional war between Israel and its enemies, including Iran, Syria, and Lebanon. Here's what you need to know. Israel has launched over 100 airstrikes on Iranian military sites in Syria since September, targeting Iranian-backed militias and infrastructure. The Iranian military has responded with missile attacks on Israeli cities, including Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, and Haifa. The United States has warned its citizens in the region to exercise extreme caution due to the escalating conflict. Russia has offered mediation between Israel and Iran, while Turkey has called for an end to hostilities. The European Union has also urged calm and called for a peaceful resolution to the crisis. The international community is worried about the potential consequences of a wider war in the region, which could draw in other countries and lead to significant loss of life. Tesla CEO Elon Musk drew parallels between President Donald Trump's administration and the dystopian world of BioShock, a video game that critiques unchecked capitalism. In a tweet, Musk shared a screenshot from the game featuring a red banner with the phrase, "No gods or kings, only man." The move comes as Musk faces backlash for his personal feud with Trump, which has alienated both parties and may cost him lucrative government contracts. Major League Baseball partners with Jomboy Media, a sports content company behind viral lip-reading videos and 2 million YouTube subscribers, to reach younger audiences through authentic digital creators. After 24 years of research, Australian historians have confirmed that Captain James Cook's lost ship HMS Endeavour has been found at the bottom of Newport Harbour in Rhode Island, solving a decades-long mystery. Inside Ardross Castle, reality TV contestants plot betrayals while host Alan Cumming orchestrates chaos in outrageous outfits. The show's unique blend of deception and strategy has made it a viral sensation. President Trump said he wants to bring an end to Iran's nuclear program, with the country giving up entirely its enrichment activities. The U.S. president made the statement after Israel launched a military operation against Iranian targets, killing senior leaders and causing widespread destruction. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said he won't rule out assassinating Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, amid ongoing attacks on Iranian nuclear sites. While some officials predict a toppling of the regime, others argue that internal tensions and external pressures may prevent such an outcome. Meet George Goutens, the NYC dad who won a Father's Day Pedro Pascal look-alike contest with his uncanny resemblance to Game of Thrones actor. He took home $50 and a year's worth of burritos, beating 20 competitors. Home decor retailer At Home is filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy to eliminate $2 billion in debt, close 26 stores by September, and transition ownership to lenders holding over 95% of its debt. The company has been struggling due to rising tariffs, inflation, and a slowdown in consumer demand for home furnishings. The U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, has resumed its operations to arrest unauthorized immigrants at farms, hotels, and restaurants, reversing a temporary pause issued by the Trump administration just days ago. According to sources, ICE officials were informed of the new guidance during a call on Monday, allowing them to continue targeting specific industries deemed critical to national security and public safety. The Ninth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals will hear arguments over President Trump's deployment of the National Guard to Los Angeles amid anti-ICE protests, temporarily blocking a lower court's order for California to regain control of the National Guard. 2 Minnesota lawmakers and their spouses were shot in a violent attack outside their homes. Capitol Hill lawmakers are being briefed on enhanced security measures to prevent similar incidents. As credit card interest rates soar above 21% and inflation tightens budgets, millions of Americans are struggling with debt payments. To avoid damage to credit scores and financial future, take action at each stage of delinquency. 30 days late, make the minimum payment. 60 days late, reach out to creditors for hardship programs or balance transfers. 90 days late, negotiate a payment plan or settlement and explore debt relief options. Eliana Pinkney, daughter of Clementa Pinkney, who was killed in the 2015 Charleston church shooting, has found solace through acting and advocacy. 10 years after the massacre, she continues to spread a message of forgiveness and resilience, drawing on her father's legacy and her own experiences as a survivor. Rep. Thomas Massie of Kentucky plans to introduce a resolution aimed at preventing the U.S. from taking part in any military or diplomatic actions involving Israel and Iran, amid rising tensions between the two countries. 55 U.S. states, along with 5 territories and Washington, D.C., have agreed to a $7.4 billion settlement with Purdue Pharmaceuticals, marking the largest single agreement in the opioid crisis litigation, as the company prepares for bankruptcy. A senior at Bronx High School of Science is advocating for a bill that would require closed captions in movie theaters across New York State, with the goal of making it nationwide. Cuban salsa singer Willie Chirino shares his perspective on fatherhood, discussing the challenges of balancing family life with a decades-long music career. Trauma nurse Tracy Vos, 49, joins U.S. Navy Reserve after years caring for sick patients and facing rejection multiple times. Now serving in Africa, she blends her skills with hospital care, inspiring others with her determination. Kraft Heinz, a multinational food company, announced it will remove artificial dyes from its products sold in the U.S. by the end of 2027. The move comes as part of a push to reduce the use of synthetic food dyes, which have been criticized for their potential health effects. Over 200 brands are manufactured by Kraft Heinz, and the company has invested in replacing artificial dyes with natural colors. The Federal Reserve is expected to maintain its benchmark interest rate steady at its meeting on June 17 through 18, citing uncertainty around President Trump's tariffs and economic outlook. The decision comes despite a slight increase in inflation and slowing job growth, with economists predicting a 97.5% probability of the Fed keeping rates unchanged. The suspect in the alleged shooting of 2 Minnesota state lawmakers and their spouses is set to appear in court on Monday. The charges against him are still pending, but he faces serious consequences if convicted. CBS News' latest updates will be provided once available. Amazon will run its annual Prime Day sales event for 4 days starting July 8, offering exclusive deals to Prime members. The event, which started in 2015, has expanded to include more countries and fanfare, with 20 nations participating this year. Shoppers can expect deals on a variety of products, including electronics, clothing, groceries, and beauty items, from midnight EDT on July 8 to July 11. Former U.S. Senator Bob Menendez has begun serving an 11-year sentence at a Pennsylvania prison after being convicted of federal bribery charges, which included accepting bribes in exchange for political favors and protecting business owners from investigations. Menendez had pleaded guilty to the crimes, maintaining his innocence, but apologizing for past mistakes during his sentencing hearing. His wife Nadine is set to receive her own sentencing on September 11. The Trump administration's deal with Japan-based Nippon Steel to acquire U.S. Steel includes a rare corporate twist called a golden share, granting the U.S. government significant control over major decisions, including potential job transfers and headquarters relocation. A nighttime Russian missile and drone bombardment of Ukraine killed at least 15 people and injured 156, with a 9-story apartment building demolished in the deadliest attack on Kyiv this year. The assault came after 2 rounds of direct peace talks failed to make progress. U.S. President Donald Trump has secured a $600 billion investment from Saudi Arabia, amid efforts to counter conspiracy theories spreading online. In a related move, the U.S. has launched a campaign to combat debunk bot groups spreading false information. The initiative aims to provide accurate and trustworthy content to the public. CBS News' Anthony Mason gives a tour of the iconic castle set for Peacock's The Traitors, as filming begins on Season 4, with an all-star cast, including reality stars, NFL moms, and Olympians. The U.S. Senate is moving towards final passage of the Genius Act, a landmark bill to regulate crypto, after weeks of bipartisan negotiations that addressed Democrats' concerns about corruption and consumer protection. The bill establishes a regulatory framework for stablecoins, requiring disclosure of holdings over $5,000 and formal rules for monitoring suspicious transactions. Despite some concerns remaining unaddressed, Senate Majority Leader John Thune has secured enough Democratic support to propel the legislation forward. Following targeted shootings in Minnesota that killed one lawmaker and wounded another, U.S. lawmakers will receive security briefings from the Capitol Police and Senate Majority Leader John Thune. The briefings come as threats against Congress have accelerated, with over 9,400 cases investigated in 2024 alone. Residents in Spain and several European cities protested against mass tourism on Sunday, citing rising housing costs and pushing out locals. The protests, which included water gun attacks, are part of a growing movement concerned with over-tourism's negative effects across southern Europe. Thousands gathered in Majorca, Barcelona, Venice, and Lisbon, highlighting the impact of tourism on cities like Barcelona, where 15.5 million visitors last year drove up housing costs and displaced residents. Spanish authorities have responded by cracking down on short-term rental platforms like Airbnb, but the issue remains contentious among residents and industry players alike. The protests mark a growing concern across Europe about the effects of mass tourism, with cities struggling to cope with the surge in short-term rentals and visitors. As the European Union's largest economy, Spain is at the forefront of this debate, with residents demanding action to address the root causes of over-tourism. Spain's government has implemented measures to tackle the issue, including a crackdown on Airbnb and a ban on new hotel licenses in Venice. However, the movement shows no signs of slowing down, with protesters saying their cities are being taken over by tourists. The Sacklin family has agreed to a $7.4 billion settlement with 15 U.S. states over their role in fueling the opioid crisis, barring them from selling opioids and ending Purdue Pharma's control. The deal will fund opioid addiction treatment and prevention programs nationwide for 15 years.